Hey, what's up guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Red Eyes Black Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because Red Eyes is my favorite nostalgic OG monster of them all. Like, Red Eyes was like the coolest thing in the original series, and I just love this card so much. So without further ado guys, let's get straight into this. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you can become part of the notification squad. And I really quickly want to mention to you guys that we do have a Patreon and a Ko-Fi down in the description. So if you guys would like to donate to the channel, definitely check those links out. So I really quickly will mention about this deck profile as well. You can actually consistently get out 3 of these Flare Metals under Master Rule 5 really easily. So let's get into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon. A ferocious dragon with a deadly attack, which is a awesome card. This card is great. Then we play 3 copies of Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon, which is the relatively new one that came out of the Gold Sarcophagus tin, which is just such a good card. Basically, it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by attributing a Red Eyes monster from your hand or field, and you can only special summon it once per turn. Once per turn, if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, except another copy of itself, and then special summon it to your side of the field. And if it was a Red Eyes Black Dragon, its attack is doubled, and it goes to 4,800 attack, which is humongous. Like, that is crazy cool. Then we play just 1 copy of Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon. I just played the one of. Basically, you can Gemini summon this out, and then when it attacks, it becomes like, it does 500, or not 500, it does 2,400 damage after it attacks, which is good, but I just feel like it's a good one of at this point. I probably wouldn't play it any more than one. It's kind of like how Blue Eyes have Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, where you have Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon in this build. Then we play 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. Black Metal Dragon is one of the best searchers in the entire deck because you can target 1 Red Eyes monster you control and equip this card to it, and then it gains 600 attack. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add any Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand, which is crazy good. That is just a really busted good effect. Then we play 2 copies of the Black Stone of Legend. The Black Stone of Legend is a really good card. That basically what this card does is that you contribute this card to special summon a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck, except another copy of Red Eyes B-Chick. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your grave, shuffle it back into the deck, and if you do, add this card from your graveyard to your hand, but you can only use the either or effect once per turn. Not that bad to be able to shuffle it back into the deck, but it's just a good 2 of to be able to shuffle that card back into the deck, put it on the field. So really good card. Really busted card. We play 3 copies of Red Eyes Baby Dragon. Red Eyes Baby Dragon is a good card in this deck because when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck, and if you do equip this card to that card, and then it gains 300 attack. And if this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can add a level 1 dragon monster from your deck to your hand. Deck or graveyard to your hand, which is either your Black Metal or your Black Stone of Ancients, which is really good. Then we play a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Darkness Metal is really good because you just have to banish a dragon monster you control to special summon this card. And it has the ability that you can target a dragon monster in your graveyard and instantly special summon it, or a dragon monster is in your hand and instantly special summon it once per turn. Really good card. 1 copy of Gearfried the Red Eyes Iron Knight. I just play this as one of because you can go into Red Eyes Slash Dragon in this deck pretty easily because we do play a one of copy of the Red Eyes Fusion in here. So you can go into the card, and it also has the ability that once per turn, if either player equips an equip card to this card, you can destroy those equip cards and then destroy a spell or trap card your opponent controls. And then once per turn, you can send an equip card you control to this card to the graveyard and then special summon a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your graveyard, which can be Black Metal Dragon, can be equipped to this, detached, or send to the graveyard, special summon, and then search as well. So it's a really good combo to be able to equip Black Metal Dragon onto your Iron Knight, which is a good combo. I mean, you just a one of. And I probably would change it out for a Dark Magician when we do get the Dragoon, the Red Eyes of Dragoon, which is going to be really crazy, or Dragon, or whatever it is. Then we play a single copy of Light Pulsar Dragon. Light Pulsar Dragon is just here for the Red Eyes Fusion to be able to fusion summon into Falling Meteor Black Dragon, or the Fusion monster. I cannot remember his full name, because it has a Meteor Black Comet Dragon. That's what it was. Then we play 3 copies of Tenyi Spirit, the Dark Tenyi Spirit. This card is basically here because it's really good to have, because if you don't control a effect monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and it's a level 7 monster that you can basically overlay with a Red Eyes to go into a Flare Metal. And it also has the ability that if this card is, you can banish it from your graveyard, hand or graveyard, and then target a monster your opponent controls and then return that card to the hand. So it's a good spot removal as well to get cards off the field. So I highly recommend you play 3 of the Tenyi Spirit. It's kind of like a pseudo special summon for free Red Eyes. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is basically here just to stop hand traps. We don't want to deal with hand traps in this deck, so you play 3 copies of Call by the Grave. And if they do activate a hand trap, you can just instantly burn them for 1,500 if you have 3 Red Eyes Flare Metals on the field, which is going to happen. 3 copies of Super Polymerization just to kind of board wipe our opponent. You do play a couple of cards in the extra deck to deal with that, like Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, Mud Dragon of the Swamps, and Red Eyes Slash Dragon, which actually comes in handy with Super Polymerization if you're playing against a warrior deck, because it just requires any warrior monster to use with this card. So if your opponent plays something from the extra deck that's a warrior monster and you have a Red Eyes, you can just instantly fuse it away for the Slash Dragon. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is really good for an extender in this deck. I highly recommend that you guys play Monster Reborn in here. 1 copy of 1-for-1 for the copies of Blackstone of Legend and the copies of the Black Metal Dragon. 1 copy of Red Eyes Fusion. It is searchable in here. I have bumped it down considerably because I'm more focused on the XYZ build and less of the Fusion build in here. But when the Red Eyes, the Dragoon of Red Eyes or whatever it is, or Dragon of Red Eyes comes out from the OCG, this is going to go up considerably. I'm probably going to play it as a 3 of with the Dark Magician, and I'm going to go for the Red Eyes Insight and make some really interesting plays in this deck. So then we play 3 copies of the Red Eyes Insight. Red Eyes Insight is really good because it lets you send a Red Eyes monster from your deck to your deck or hand to the graveyard, and then add a Red Eyes spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So basically, you're playing 4 copies of any copy of your Red Eyes card that you're going to be playing in this deck, because I only play every single Red Eyes card at 1. But it lets you add a spell or trap. But the interesting thing about Red Eyes Fusion is it lets you fuse and summon from deck, but you can't normal summon monsters or special summon monsters, but you can set, and that's why we play Baby Dragons, because if you have Baby Dragon in the hand, you set the Baby Dragon and then activate Red Eyes Fusion, because you always want to go first, because you're either going to go for the triple Flare Metal, or at least double Flare Metal, or you're going to go for Red Eyes Fusion and go into the Falling Meteor or the Meteor Black Comet Dragon. So you have options. Then we play 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. Basically, it lets you revive a level 8 or 7, or level 7 or 8 dragon monster from your graveyard and then put it onto your side of the field. So the reason we play this is because we play 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon, and you just instantly special summon it onto your side of the field. And then for the last 3 cards, we play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is because we play so many dark monsters in this deck, it's ridiculous. We play, I mean, the entire deck is dark, except for Light Pulsar Dragon. Everything's dark, and we have plenty of targets for Allure of Darkness. And sometimes you don't want that extra baby dragon in your hand, so you use Allure of Darkness and banish it. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps, which we do actually play traps in this deck, which is kind of interesting. So I just play 1 of each of the Red Eyes trap cards, which is 1 copy of the Red Eyes Return of the Red Eyes, 1 copy of Red Eyes Spirit, and 1 copy of Red Eyes Fang and Chain. So going through these 3 cards, basically what they do is the simplest one is Red Eyes Spirit. It's basically Monster Reborn in trap form. You get to target any Red Eyes monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which could be Flare Metal, it could be a copy of your Darkness Metal, it could be anything. Return of the Red Eyes is kind of like that, but with a twist. If you control a Red Eyes monster, you have to control a Red Eyes monster, and you can only target normal monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. And if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target a Red Eyes monster in your graveyard and special summon it. But the really interesting thing is you can do this once per turn if you control a Red Eyes monster. So every turn you can just revive a Red Eyes, which is neat. Fang and Chain is the most interesting of the three. You get to target a Red Eyes monster you control and equip this card to it, and then you can make 2 attacks during each battle phase, all monsters. But during the battle phase, you can send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, you get to target 1 effect monster your opponent controls and equip it to that Red Eyes monster that this was equipped to, making that Red Eyes monster have the same attack and defense as the equipped monster, which is kind of neat. So if your opponent has something like a Blue Eyes on the field, and you equip this to a Red Eyes, you can send this to the graveyard during the battle phase, equip the Blue Eyes to it, and it has the Blue Eyes as stats, which is 3,000, 2,500. And then you attack your opponent for that. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. And yes, I do still have all 3 first ed editions of my Flare Metals. You got to play the Flare Metal at 3, and you got to have that Flare in the deck by having every single edition of Flare Metal in the extra deck. It just makes it so much more, satisfying when you put all 3 of them on the field. So definitely give us a like for having all 3 editions in first ed, I might add. That's how much I love Red Eyes Black Dragon. I went out of my way to get all 3 of these. Then we play a single copy of Dark Armed, the Dragon of Annihilation, which is actually the first time I've played this in any profile. If you're in the UK or in the EU and you can't play this, you can definitely change this out for like a Draco Sack or something else. You can change it out for anything that you'd like, a Wee Witch's Apprentice, anything that you'd like to take it out for. But basically what this card does is once per turn, if you have exactly 5 dark monsters in your graveyard, you can XYZ summon this card using 1 level 5 or higher dark dragon type monster you control as material. And then you can detach material from this card and then target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it, then banish 1 card from your graveyard. Also, this card cannot attack the turn you activate and resolve this effect. So basically, if you have 5 dark monsters in your graveyard, you can overlay this on top of just a regular Red Eyes Black Dragon and have a 2800 beat stick. Really cool, and it's kind of like the star of the channel, Dark Armed Dragon, so you kind of have to play it. So then we play 1 copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack, just so we can link in or go into this and have the extra tokens to be able to pop things and spot remove things. 1 copy of Big Eye, so you can detach a material from this and then take a monster your opponent controls. For the fusion monsters, we're going to be playing a copy of Meteor Black Comet Dragon. Meteor Black Comet Dragon requires a level 7 Red Eyes monster and then a level 6 Dragon monster, which is Light Pulsar, and a Red Eyes, which is alternative. It can be an alternative. It can be a black flare. It can be a regular Red Eyes. Any of those 7 work for this, which is pretty cool. And when it's fusion summoned, it has the ability to send a Red Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's attack, which is neat. And it also has the ability that if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to target a normal monster in your graveyard and instantly special summon it. We play a single copy of Slash Dragon. Slash Dragon's effect is really neat, that when it declares an attack, you can target a warrior monster in your graveyard and equip it to this card. And then the equipped monster gains 200 attack, and then you can also activate the quick effect that you can send an equipped card you control to the graveyard to negate the activation of a monster effect, I believe. That when a card is activated that targets this card, you can detach the equip card to the graveyard and then just instantly negate it, which is pretty cool. And then it also has the ability that if this card is destroyed, if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon as many monsters from your graveyard as possible that were equipped to this card, which is kind of nice. Then we play a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon for a Super Poly target, and a Mud Dragon of the Swamp as another Super Poly target. You need both of those because they're both good Super Poly targets. It's really easy to go into Starving Venom Fusion Dragon in this deck, and really cool, actually. It goes with the theme of the whole deck. But Mud Dragon is kind of here for if your opponent's not playing Darks. 1 copy of Boral Sword. Boral Sword's to OTK our opponent. Blackluster Soldier is here because you can make it extremely easy, and it's kind of like an ode to Yugi with Joey. It's really cool to be able to summon Blackluster Soldier in a Red Eyes deck. But basically it's extremely easy to go off with its other effect, and you play a lot of monsters in this deck and can swarm extremely easily, so this card's really good. 1 copy of the Heretic Dragon of the Heavenly Spheres. You're playing a dragon deck, so you need to play this to be able to bounce, to have board removal. 1 copy of the Monk of the Tenyi, because you can link the Spirit away to summon this, and then you have it in the graveyard live to bounce something off your opponent's side of the field. And then 1 copy of Linkuriboh as well, because we do play a lot of level 1 monsters in the entire deck. But you don't have to have these as a Master Rule 5, so you don't have to play the Blackluster Soldier if you don't want to. I just play it because I have one. You can take it out and put something else like a Wee Witch in here, or something else that you want to play in its place if you want to go for more of a budget aspect of this deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I have to say it is one of my favorite decks of all time. In my top 3 favorite decks of all time, probably, that I always carry with me. So if you ever run into me in a convention or something like that, or at a card shop, definitely ask me to duel against my Red Eyes deck, because I am always willing to throw down with my Red Eyes deck. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell on this so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.